Let's start with the most anticipated game in September that turned out to be not a game at all.
Right.
Kansas City, Baltimore, the Chiefs dominated. Two-score game. It never felt that close to me.
No.
It felt like a three or
not.
four-score game the entire time.
Agreed.
So let's start with the Chiefs offense against the Ravens defense. And game ball. You have one game ball to give. You giving it to Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy and they can kind of split it, or you give it to Patrick Mahomes?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because, I probably in this one, as awesome as Mahomes was, awesome.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it to Bieniemy and Reid
Why?
for what they did here. They were on the tack from the get-go. Baltimore is one of those teams that they like to play from the power position. We're going to be in your face, people at the line of scrimmage, our secondary is good. We're going to force the issue right away. Going to be hard to run, going to be hard for you to get easy completions early in the game because we're going to be right there. Right, well, think about what they do the first play of the game. Tyreek Hill this way, Tyreek Hill all of a sudden set hut, fake the run up the middle, and it's a reverse. And now and Baltimore brings the corner blitz too.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden they're coming out going, we're going to be aggressive. It's hard to be real aggressive with that team, that talented, and then that coach throwing aggressive back at you.
Right.
Right. So now you're the D coordinator. All of a sudden you're going, whoa, wait, holy cow, that was one step away from going for 80 yards and everything like that.
Right.
We're on our heels a little, but I think that's the thing that jumped out to me more than not.
Right.
Kansas City attacked from get-go. They played into their aggression a little bit, especially early on with some of the misdirection screens, right? Get them they're foaming at the mouth. We're going to get this guy. We're going to get that guy. What? Oh, it went to that guy. They really did a great job of that. And then having their moments of being aggressive with that man-to-man coverage at times to where you're like, you sure you want to keep playing man against these guys?
Exactly.
Right.
And I'm going to ask you if and when they did come off of that aggressive game plan for the Baltimore defense.
Yeah.
But you say aggressive with the Chiefs, and I used to think of aggressive with an offense. Okay, we're taking shots downfield. We're going up big. To me, their aggressive is in 20 plays, we're going to show you 17 different looks and motions and formations.
Exactly.
And we're aggressive that way.
Exactly right. We're going to give you a lot of things to think about, movement, let alone your talent, but they're not going to let you just hunker in there and get a feel for what we're doing. And when they get in this formation, man, they've been doing this and this all game long. You're right. They throw a lot of different things at you.
What would be the proper response for a defense?
I think the proper response, Baltimore's, they don't match up great with Kansas City.
Up front or out wide?
Well, a little bit of both. See, what they do is they usually can cover people man-to-man. And since they don't have great pass rushers, they go, all right, we'll find some creative blitzes to get after the quarterback because Peters and Humphreys and Smith and Anthony Averett, they can all cover man-to-man while, the quarterback's going to be back there and, we'll be man-to-man, but he's not going to have much time, and we think we can cover that long, right?
Right.
So right off the bat, that's not a good formula for Kansas City because Kansas City's like, man-to-man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. And then they're going, blitz. Our quarterback, he knows how to pick up the blitz. He knows who's free. Andy Reid's an ex-O-line guy. He knows how to pick up blitzes that way. So that's a scary combination in that specific matchup. And here, just to your point. Mm-hmm. So with first play, cornerback blitz to the Ravens, right? Second play, they blitz all out. Everybody, 8 guys blitzing, right? You're going, wow. But to what you're saying, with the formations and everything that Andy did, he went 5 free releasers. He went screens. He went block it up and protect it, and let's throw an out-up comeback to Tyreek Hill and Marcus Peters. The screens going all different directions. So within that, it was an aggressive versus aggressive style, and you saw who won. Mm-hmm. And that was the offensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. They just always attacked all night, and they kept the Ravens off balance. I think that's the big thing. Off balance and keeping the other side off balance. Yeah. And going back to our conversation last year, one of the things that I like about the way you see these games with defense against offense, it's not always outmanning them in the blitz or having better personnel. You talk about keeping a quarterback guessing and giving him that moment in the pocket where he's not sure what they're doing. Right. So did you see Baltimore doing anything that provided those moments where Mahomes was like, I don't know. I don't know what's up here. I didn't. I think that's what's so impressive.
And neither did I.
No, right? I mean, you're saying he was in total control of protection all night.
Right.
And I think because they're attacking too, that gives him confidence. They play against, and I heard him say this after the game, Mahomes. They play against a defense in Spagnuolo who's very similar.
Right.
It's disguises, it's crazy blitzes, it's outside the box thinking. So he's done that all training camp. Sure, he's very comfortable with sorting that out. And then here's the other thing too that's big. Because if you drop back and you go, hey, we got to read their defense, and if it's two safeties, play the right side. If it's one safety, play the left side. Baltimore will give you some looks where you drop back and you go, I don't know if it's two safeties or one safety. You tell me what that coverage is, coach.
Right.
They ran some all-purpose plays where it was just like, we don't give a about their coverage. Look at this guy first. Look at this guy second. Look at this guy third. Who's ever open, throw it. I don't give a shit what the coverage is. So it takes a little of the thinking out, and like Mahomes not having to think like, oh, wait, am I making the right decision against the right coverage the way the coach told me? No, the coach just told you, look at the tailback going out in the flat. Is he open? Throw it. No. Okay, here's Kelsey who runs in and then came back out. He's number 2. Is he open? Throw it. No. Oh, and then we have a shallow cross coming across under behind that, and he's number 3, and you don't have to read coverages. And I think that's what they did so well, let alone picking on some of the young guys. Like the screens and stuff early on was all about Patrick Queen, rookie middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Let's get his head spinning. He's never played an offense like that. I thought that was very well thought out as well.
There's no shame in having Patrick Mahomes have an MVP-type performance.
No.
I mean, they join all kind of defense these last 3 years who were in the same boat. The Chiefs scoring in upper 30s. That's going to happen. But if they had a chance to play him again next week, what should they do differently to not give up in the 30s, but maybe somewhere in the mid-20s?
Yeah, right. They officially will now have to readjust the way they play the Chiefs the next time. There's no doubt. You've lost 3 times, and really 2 out of the 3 have been bad. Yeah. Right? I mean, even last year's regular season game, the score looks closer. It was like kind of like the other night. It was a blowout. I want to say it was like at one point like 29-7 or something like that, and they made it look better than it was in the very end. To me, the big thing will be you can't play as aggressive against this team. One of the things I wrote is, the Ravens can't get off the field on 3rd down. They
were at 1 point 10 out of 12.
It's insane. Nobody does that to the Ravens.
You don't do that in practice.
Nobody does that to the Ravens. And I just wrote, they can't get there with 4 rushers, and they know they can't let him sit there all day, so they blitz. But this is probably the only NFL team in the league that they can't do this against. So the teams we've seen struggle with Mahomes the week before, the Chargers, that 49ers scheme, the Seattle scheme, you hear me talk about. Well, yeah, it's a front 4 that can get after it, and then they can put 7 in deep zones. And, can Mahomes and everybody, do they have enough short passing attack and short game to be patient and move the ball and do those type of things? We saw more of that this last game where you saw some short passing where I went, ooh, I like the way some of this looks. But that is what they'll have to do, is maybe find creative ways to rush 4 still, right? Like, it looks like a blitz, but we really drop somebody out here, and it's really 4 still rushing.
Once again, back to trying to confuse them.
You're going to have to confuse them and then not play so much man-aggressive coverage behind it because, again, even if he's outnumbered in the blitz and you play too much man, he'll fade away or make that blitzer miss, and then you're going, well, I've been covering Tyreek Hill for 9 seconds, and you're not going to cover him for 9 seconds, and then he's going to get you for a big play.
And we always give credit, and I think he deserves it, to Andy Reid for his creativity and for beating the aggressive defenses. Yeah. But I just want to speak up for Mahomes. In addition to the talent, the fact that he's not confused with these looks at that age, I mean, I don't think we talk enough about his smarts to go along with his talent, because a lot of that credit needs to go to him and not just Andy.
I agree there. I mean, well, you're right. He does not get enough. We don't ever give the really super talented athletic guys sport, any credit with smarts. Like they just do it on God-given talent. They never think. The guy loves the sport. He lives it. Yeah. He does. And we never see him make really mistakes. I mean, we don't ever.
Didn't throw a pick. And
he never throws.
Didn't really make a poor decision.
Right. I mean, this is a guy that's a gunslinger that rarely doesn't see what he's throwing the ball into. Rarely throws balls where you go, whoa, he got lucky, or he had a game today. They should have caught 4 interceptions. Like, I understand every now and then he throws one like that, but it's very rare for the way they play. And I think you're spot on. He is unshakable, unrattable, rattleable, whatever.
Rattle him.
You can't.
Right.
And you just can't. There's nothing. And he just feeds off of it. The other thing, too, I was very surprised by the lack of pass rush integrity by the Ravens. It's like you know,
when you attach integrity to that, what do you mean?
I mean, like staying in your lane, realizing this is one of the greatest scramblers in the sport. I know he's not Lamar Jackson, but this is one of the great extenders of the play, or get on the edge and threaten you with eyes and arms. And I mean, how many big plays were they going to just let him scoot around the right side and nobody be there?
Right.
That to me was a little surprising too. It was a little too much like hair's on fire, let's go get him, instead of like the New England approach, which is let's just collapse the pocket and kind of keep him in there, and you know, just we'll kind of try to not overplay our hand and react to him to where he does that. So that was very surprising to me too.
Okay. Can we go other side?
Yep, I think that does it. Oh, well, I want to talk about one play first.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk
Wide
about
open.
this play.
Yeah.
The 3rd and 15 play. This to me explains the game, right? If you want to take
Hardman,
one play.
49-yard touchdown.
49-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Right. And this goes back again to Andy aggressiveness. I mean, Andy, see, this is where Andy's so cool. I mean, 3rd and 15 could be a screen. 3rd and 15 could be a bomb. You don't know.
Right.
There's no way to get a feel for his tendencies.
And it was an out and up. And there's no reason to call a 5-yard out on 3rd and long, because what DB is going to bite on a 5-yard out?
No.
But they did anyway.
They did anyways. And it's an interesting one here, because I've seen this play. A lot of people have been trying to like break it down on the internet and things. And some people I really respect. And I want to break it down a little bit. And I don't know if I'm totally right here. I really don't. I think I'm right from my days of breaking down Baltimore in those years and watching Baltimore, and you know how much of film I watch now, to where, here we go. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, all right, you see here, it's a blitz zone, right? 3 deep blitz zone. And as you watch, and we're seeing Mecole Hardman run that out and up, DeShon Elliott, the safety, right? He is the guy that comes down and has to cover Mecole Hardman. Right? You see him coming down.
Talking about that.
And you know what? And I really pause this for a second right here, if you don't mind, Kristen. Thank you. Perfect. So I have right now the pen on Marcus Peters, right? Who everybody's blaming for this play. Everybody thinks Marcus Peters should be back in his 3rd, and that's who should have stopped this out and up. What I'm saying is I'm not necessarily sure that's the case. The way a lot of teams, and this is going to be posted on Instagram, this video later, so if I don't explain it well here, check out my Instagram page, okay, at Simms Unbuttoned, sorry, duh, and check this out. But I don't think Peters is responsible for the deep 3rd. I think Peters is doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, which is looking up crossers, because these type of crossers are what kill this type of blitz more times than not. And the Ravens are the type of team that are smart. They're outside the box thinkers. They've probably been beat on the route before playing the coverage the way everybody else in football does. And they probably finally said, wait, why do we do it this way? We see everybody get beat with this route. Let's do something different. So DeShon Elliott, that safety, now he is coming down to be like a, you know, in the box type safety, underneath flat curl area.
This is
guy.
a safety on the right hash.
Yeah, on the right hash, right, in the all way. And go ahead, let it play there, Kristen. So you see Marcus Peters, who one is looking at it, but right away starts to look up Tyreek Hill. DeShon Elliott is responsible for Mecole Hardman going on the out route. That's his area. Now, I think because the way they play this, right, I don't look at this. DeShon Elliott tries to match the out route, and I think that Peters is playing for the crossing route all the time, all the way here, hoping that Mahomes will think, wait, he should be out of there in his deep 3rd, and he's not, and then you throw the pick. It's kind of a match zone. This is a match zone. So then as he goes out, he has to take him. I want to be able to explain this more in the podcast. This is why everybody's got to watch this video on my Instagram page later, because I'd like to be able to show people why also the things that teams do or could do that would expose, like if Marcus Peters was covering that deep 3rd. And it's hard for me to do here without video, so everybody's going to have to check it out later. But I'm telling you, I've seen some really smart people who have said that, and I'm not saying I'm right.
You think there was supposed to be a free safety in the middle?
No, I don't think so either. I think, you know, he's in the middle, but they're really playing over there like the little combination. See, what people try to do against those all-out blitzes a lot of the times is, like, they'll have Mecole Hardman run the out, and because that team's playing 3 deep, now the corner has to kind of go with the out, and now there's nobody there for the cross. So teams would just do that all day long and just keep hitting the cross. It's a 20-yard game. Man, we're blitzing. We're trying to do something. We're giving up 25-yard completions every time. How does that make sense? So they started to go, hey, safety, you come down. And as he goes to the curl flat area, right? All right. If he goes upfield, you have to match him and take him because there is nobody upfield. We have our guy doing something different. It's similar to like we talk about Seattle cover 3 press bail, right?
Yep.
If you have 2 receivers to the right, all right, just try to listen to me through here this way. This is a hard one to explain. I'm doing my best. But if you have 2 receivers to the right, and it's that cover 3 Seattle coverage we talk about a lot. If the outside guy just runs a go, right?
Yep.
Then that corner has to go, right?
Yes.
Now, if that slot receiver runs a 5-yard out, yeah, there's a guy there for the curl flat to get him. But what if he runs an out and up? Who covers him? That curl flat guy has to go with him. He has to. He has to. Who's going to cover him? Nobody will ever cover him then.
But
this is modern day NFL.
But nobody covering the curl flat can stay with number 10 for the Chiefs. I mean, no one can stay with him down the field.
No.
40 yards down the field.
No. Well, that was McCole Hardman down the field. But
who's almost as fast.
Yes. But okay. So but what I'm saying is I'm just trying to explain why the safety matched the out and up.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. If they played it the way I'm hearing everybody on the internet and TV talk about it, you would just run McCole Hardman right at Marcus Peters, right? And that safety's going to come down, and that cross is going to be open every time still. Because they didn't even protect the blitz the right way. If they protected the blitz right way, they could have put out Demarcus Robinson in a little route in the slot who was right next to McCole Hardman. And if he just ran 5 yards and turned around, Deshaun Elliott would have to go up and cover him.
Yeah.
Now nobody, and if McCole Hardman ran the go route, you would have a go with a crosser, and nobody would ever be there to stop him. Post and corner routes stop blitz zero, those type of blitz looks. They know that. It's a tough one to explain here on podcasts. I hope I made my points. Might be some of that to draw up on the board at some point. You know?
I think that'd be fun. I would love to, because I can kind of picture it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
You know, the day of like, not everybody plays 3 deep zone. You don't, in the day of like, hey, you're in 3 deep and we just play in this zone area. No, there's no such thing anymore. 3 deep zone becomes you match up with the person when they come into your area. You're not just going to go, like if you're the receiver, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in the curl flat, right? And here you come. I'm not going to just like let you sit there and just be like, but I'm in my curl flat area.
But that would have covered it better.
What's that? For what? Who were you talking about?
Wouldn't have given up, if that was a classic cover 3 where they weren't matching up and basically playing man. If they were in 3 deep, the guy in the flat wouldn't have had to try and run with Hardman, first of all.
Right.
And number 2, even though it was an incredibly impressive, talented throw by Mahomes, he left it pretty far in the middle. In a classic cover 3, the free safety would have been there to pick it up.
Yes, I know you're right. If they played it the traditional way, it would be right. But if they played it the traditional way, teams would expose them all the time.
The crosser would have been open.
Always. Or you're going to put them in a bind where what if that guy on the outside just runs a straight 15-yard out route? I mean, the curl flat guy can't get there to stop that. He could barely get to that out route. And now the deep guys.
The corner could jump that, though.
Oh, but then the deep cross is open every time. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is how people attack this blitz. And Baltimore's smart. And I've been with Wink Martindale in Denver before, and I think they know this is how teams beat it. So they're a little different and try to steal it, right? They're like, we see everybody beat it this way. We're not going to let you beat it this way. And I think Andy Reid saw that they did it this different way, and he said, I'm going to have something for their ass this time.
And they did.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm right. I don't know. You're right. If it was the traditional cover 3 way, it would have covered that play right there.
Should.
But I'm saying I don't think they play the traditional cover 3 type
Clearly
coverage
they did,
of that blitz. And maybe it is Marcus Peters. Maybe we'll find out this week. I'm not saying I'm right.
Sometime we can get on that board. Just have like a whole day.
I want to explain
a whole show
it
where
to
we
people.
Get like 2 or 3 plays like that.
I know.
Kind of run through it.
Yes, because match zone is different. It took me a while to really figure it out. I didn't get it. I had to have people in New England really explain it to me. And it all came from the Seattle game in 2012. I came downstairs, I was like, what the is this? I was like, is this man or zone? This doesn't make sense. And they started to explain it to me. This is a zone coverage, but they're not just going to let you sit in their zone and be like, oh, we're just sitting here in our zone and go ahead, sit down in that hole of our zone and we won't come and match you and cover you. And that's where football's evolved to right now, I guess, is where I'm trying to get to.
So that plays one example, the Chiefs having their way with the Ravens.
Amazing.
Earlier this week, tremendous performance. Other side of this matchup, Lamar Jackson, Ravens offense put together one touchdown drive. They didn't have a single touchdown drive, I believe, through 3 quarters. What happened with that part of the matchup?
Yeah, well, all right, hold on. My damn computer closed me out here. Hold on. I hate passwords on computers, so give me 2 seconds. All right, but okay, so I think the biggest thing to me with this side of the matchup, I think first off, you have to talk about actually, no. Here's the first thing I want to talk about. Something we don't talk about. You gave credit to Andy Reid and Bieniemy early on. Something we don't talk about enough with the Kansas City Chiefs. I said this on the day after the game on PFT, but I'm going to say it again now for those who just listen to the pod. First of all, we don't give the Chiefs enough respect for the physical football team they are. You know, we just look at it, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, zing, zoom, zoom, whoa, 400,000 yards, it's awesome. So we look at them as like kind of like that soft, like they just throw it a lot team. And that's just not the case. I think the number one thing that jumped out to me about the game, not only on TV, but when I watched back to the film, is Kansas City whooped the shit out of Baltimore.
Up front.
Like physically whooped their ass. And if you went back and watched the game, and you might have noticed it live, I mean, after the first drive, I mean, Kansas City was psycho from that. I mean, Frank Clark was getting up and going crazy, and Chris Jones were going crazy. Like, first off, I really think Kansas City likes being the king of the hill. I really do. I think they feed off of this. Like, we're the biggest show in town. You think you're going to knock us off? Well, we'll see about that. But I think that's the first thing I'd like to talk about. The physicality of the Chiefs in general does not get respect. They can't match up with the physicality of the 49ers. Oh, they win the game. They can't stop Derrick Henry in that physical running game. He doesn't do shit. They're more physical than we want to tell them. And I think early in the game, those first few plays, hey, it caught them off guard. You're kind of getting used to what they're doing. You haven't seen anybody like Lamar Jackson in an attack like this. But after that, Jones, Noddy, Frank Clark, Passignon, 64 Pennell, they whooped some ass up front. They did not lose the battle against that Baltimore front. And then I think the other thing is, too, Spags called their bluff. How
so?
From the get-go. It was in-your-face, man-to-man coverage. We're going to give you some great looks to throw it. Do you want to throw it, or do you want to try to run it in here against all this nonsense I got going on here with all these guys, and you don't know who's shooting where and what's going on? He called their bluff, and they won. I mean, they won because Baltimore wanted to continue to try to just grind it out and run the ball and do that stuff. And between Spagnuolo and just not letting Baltimore get on the edge after that first drive, always having somebody for the quarterback when he did keep it, always having somebody for the pitch guy when he did pitch it.
Yeah.
To where, he might pitch it and get a few yards, but it didn't gash them for 40 and 50 like we've seen most times with Baltimore, right?
Right.
And I think that was the big thing. And they always funneled the play back in. So, it's a pitch. Oh, here's Tyrann Mathieu. He's there for the pitch. Yeah, there's a blocker on him, but he ain't going to let you go outside. He's going to force it back in. And I think were some of the things that really jumped out to me about the game, let alone how well they covered Baltimore man-to-man.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm with you. The physicality up front is underrated for the Chiefs. It really shined through on Monday night. I have written down playmakers in the back end.
That's right.
3 safety types.
Bam, that's where I'm going next.
On the perimeter, once you get past how well they did up front, I mean, the back end, I don't know if it's the creativity or just the athleticism they have back there or the scheme, but I thought of the perimeter, and you point out bringing things back inside, my eyes started to go from the physicality up front to what they were doing in the back end pretty early.
I think you're right. Well, that I think to me would be the next thing I would talk about in the game. And those guys that you're talking about, we just talked about forcing it inside, having a guy from a pitch. It's Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah.
It's 22 Thorson, and it's Sorensen.
All
right?
3 at the same time.
3 safety, right. It's a great set they have because they're great tacklers. They got speed. They can cover if you get caught in a jam or in a mismatch and things like that. And they were a big part of the game plan. And a lot of communication in the back end. Strong safety's down to this side. oh, they shifted the tight end and the fullback over there. Now, hey, safety, you get back this side. This safety's going to go down. I mean, they never really got outnumbered or out-tricked by the run game or the formations or anything like that.
Right.
I know there was a few plays here and there, but that ain't what we used to see with Baltimore.
Right.
I mean, it was shut down for the most part, let alone, like I said, and you said playmakers. They got playmakers everywhere.
Man, back seven, yeah.
I mean, the back seven, you know, those two linebackers they got, Hitchens and Wilson, they're physical and fast. But, like, playmakers in general, just, you know, to what you're talking about, you go Matthew, Frank Clark, Chris Jones. I mean, they games up on a regular basis.
Yes, they do.
And they can make plays that can change a game. And I thought, you know, really all of them popped at some point or another.
Creativity is what we use a lot for what Kansas City does on offense. How about creativity for what Spags is doing defensively?
Yeah.
Right?
It's unreal. I mean, he really was all over their tendencies, called their bluff and said, we're not going to let you run. He was really playing defense going, listen, if this guy catches on fire and starts throwing 40 and 50 yards, then so be it.
Right.
Then I'll readjust then. But he was willing to take that chance. And, you know, even on some third downs, hey, it was 13-10 second quarter. There was a 3rd and 6 play. He throws the ball to Hollywood on a shallow cross. And as soon as he catches it, he gets crushed, and he only gets like 4 yards, and they punt it out, right? I mean, that was the free safety. They were playing basically cover 0, and they were very aware that some short, shallow crossers were going to come, and he wasn't even worried about behind them. He knew, okay, they're going to throw one of these crossers. I'm going to come down and make the tackle. But that speaks to what you're talking about with some of the creativity, let alone like some certain run situations. They put 5D linemen in there and 2 linebackers and then blitzed one of the linebackers and just said, you. We got big people that are coming at you too. I just loved all of what they did on that side of the ball. And, of course, was a little unimpressed by Baltimore's ability to adjust. And Baltimore – you know, they're so used to dominating the line of scrimmage and the run game and things like that. This is one of those games where we talked about what Baltimore needs to do next time on defense. Next time, I really think if they play again, they have to come out almost to do like pass to set up the run. They got to call Kansas City's bluff and be like, no, we're not going to let you get away with having 10 guys within 6 feet of the line of scrimmage and in our face that way.
And they didn't even come close to shutting that off. I think if you lined up every game from Sunday and Monday, and even throw in the Thursday night game and break it down into every facet, I don't know if there was a more disappointing facet of what we just saw than the Baltimore passing offense this past week. Under 100 yards passing, around 3 yards per attempt. I mean, those are atrocious numbers for any passing offense. So with the run being stuffed early, I mean, the passing attack never, ever came close to coming around on Monday night.
No, it did not. And it was not a lot of people open, which I think is concerning.
Right.
I mean, it's just not. They were, you know, the one thing I've kind of said on just a few radio things, the lack of wide receiver involvement in their offense is concerning. It is. And, you know, they're going to play another team like this that's going to go, whoa, you're not going to beat us up physically.
Right.
Can you beat us in the pass game? Hollywood is really fast. He's really good. He really has problem with people who get their hands on him at the line of scrimmage. So he's not always guaranteed to get open. And then everybody else at the receiver position, you know, there's some good, but there's nobody that scares you. Snead, Boykin, solid. But people are not going to be scared to match up with them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mark Andrews is a great tight end, but he is a tight end, and teams are going to be willing to take their chances man-to-man with him too. You know, until you start to show creative ways to get them open consistently and things like that. So that is certainly a concern. It's the concern we had going into the game. I think we all thought it was getting better through week 1 and week 2. To where if this came about, at least I did, I thought, I think Lamar's in a place now where he might be able to dice some people up if they do this. Obviously, I was wrong, and he's not ready yet.
So I want to zoom out from this game a little bit and still think about that Baltimore offense and go back to the last game of last year in the playoffs where Tennessee, I don't know schematically what they did, but it was the same result. I mean, Baltimore was so much lesser than what we've gotten used to. I think 1 touchdown drive. And I think to sound an alarm or to be panicked about the offense that next to Kansas City has been the best offense in the league the last 20 games. I don't want to go there, but to not say, okay, twice in the last 4 games, this offense has had it handed to them by who they were playing. What are the similarities between what Tennessee did to end the season last year and to what Kansas City did Monday?
There's a lot of similarities. I think it's a really good question, point, whatever, topic of conversation, Tennessee runs a very similar defense to a Spagnuolo-type defense, or even what Baltimore does. They're outside-the-box thinkers. They are. So they will come in with a game plan specific to go, you didn't see, you studied our last 10 games. Well, we didn't have to play you. So now we have something different for you, and you're not going to be ready for it. So that's what they do, just like Spag. So I think there's something there to that, let alone enough big bodies inside to go, you're not just going to just maul us and push us around, and we're just going to have to always worry about the inside. Oh, there goes Lamar on the edge. We can't tap him.
So the size and physicality up front where it starts?
I think that, and then the ability to always get an extra guy to the right formation to stop the pitch, stop the edge runs. They were very good at that last year. In fact, it's funny you're bringing this up because when I was talking about having a guy for the pitch guy and forcing it inside, that's what Tennessee was amazing at last year in the playoff game.
Yeah.
It was really one of the things I looked at and went, yeah, they never let Baltimore get that big edge run or rip off 3 or 4 of them like they usually do in a given game.
Right.
So I think there is something to that, and I think you're going to continue to see. I do think this game will be somewhat of a blueprint for defenses. Not that everybody's able to pull off what Kansas City can pull off because that talent's good.
Right.
And Spags is special. But I do think at the very least teams are going to start going, that's it. We're calling their bluff on the pass game.
Yeah.
We're calling it. We're going to start getting in their face a little bit and make him make throws. And the other thing they did, when they got into empty sets, they didn't say, oh, we'll rush 3 or rush 4 and try to drop in coverage and do that. They said, that. He's going to scramble and make a play. So they all out blitz. They said, do you know where your hot throw is? Can you throw it accurately under pressure?
Right.
And they kind of exposed Lamar that way. And they went through a stretch where they blitzed them in empty sets, like 3 plays in a row. And Baltimore didn't really have a plan.
Yeah.
And when coaches see it on film, I bet you Spags saw an all-out blitz in week 1 or 2 where he went, I'm not sure there's a plan there. I think they're just relying on a super awesome guy to make a play.
Yeah.
And I think he saw that and said, okay, well, I got a plan for them. I owe it to them to get their plan together.
So kind of finishing right where you started with this part of the matchup with the aggressiveness. We're not on our heels. We're coming after you, even though this is the offense that's been kind of setting the pace the last season and a half.
My last comment I wrote is Spags didn't try to stop everything. He just tried to stop the most dangerous things. And that's Belichickian a little bit. You can't stop everything with good football teams.
Right.
So at some point you got to go, yeah, we might have to give a little here to take from there. And I think that's what my bottom line would be from Kansas City.
See how teams go to school off of what they did and also off of what Tennessee did to end their season last year.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.